Welcome and thanks for joining today. My name is Mike Huggins from the Transformation Yoga Project, and today's practice will last just about an hour, and we'll start with some seating breathing, or otherwise called pranayama. We'll move into some mindful movement, and then we'll come back into a guided rest. As always, you are welcome to join in for the portions that feel right for you. Certainly welcome for the whole part, but make a conscious decision about what's serving you today. So if you're having an ache or pain, or something's not right, or your breathing's off, just take pause for that, and then rejoin us when you feel up to it. So come to a comfortable seated position. I happen to be seated on a block. You don't have to sit on a block. The idea is that you get to a point where you can lengthen your spine. That's what we're trying to get here. Your eyes can be open or closed, and some people find it nice to close their eyes to start the practice. And simply connecting with your breath. And to the extent you can, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. We'll just take the first few moments to become aware of our breathing, not trying to control it. And as we have awareness of our breathing, we can start to do some type of check-in. And typically a check-in can start with any physical feelings you might feel as you're breathing in, maybe tension or stress you're feeling in your neck or your back or your knees. Perhaps focusing on the exhale can release some of that tension or soften that part of your body. You can also check in emotionally. How are you doing today? You don't have to necessarily find an answer. It's just an acknowledgement that maybe you're not having the best day, but you showed up. It's sort of a no judgment zone, but it's an acknowledgement of where we feel or how we feel. And then finally, if you want to go there, you can check in just where are you spiritually? You feel connected? So much going on in the world at this moment. It's hard to keep it all feeling like we're part of this or connected or have some sense of control, which we don't. Back to that focused breathing. Follow along with my voice if you're able to, and maybe sync up with my voice with your breath. As you breathe in, know that you are breathing in. As you breathe out, know that you are breathing out. As I breathe in, I know that I'm breathing in. As I breathe out, I know that I'm breathing out. I breathe in, know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, know that I am breathing out. Do a few more on your own. Conscious awareness of your breathing. Next breath in. Take that breath in and hold it. Perhaps sip a little bit more breath in. Notice the spine might rise or straighten up just a bit. Hold it without panicking. And then a full, complete exhale. Push all that air out. No need to hold it on the exhale. And come back into that inhaling. Holding your breath, top of your inhaling, perhaps sipping a little bit more in. Lungs expanding, full, complete exhale. Push that air out. One more time, breathing in. Take that breath fully in. Let those lungs expand and hold that breath at the top of your inhaling. And full release. Come back to normal breathing in and out through your nose. In and exhaling. As you get to the bottom of the exhaling, perhaps pushing a little bit more of your breath out. Hold it. Releasing by breathing in. Exhaling. And once again, pushing that air out the bottom of your exhaling. Notice any sensations, physical or emotional. Releasing and breath in one more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. Pushing or forcing that air out of the bottom of your lungs. And releasing back to normal breathing in and out. So now let's do a little check-in here. Perhaps you're able to soften your shoulders or any parts of your body you're feeling some stiffness. Perhaps your lungs are expanding a little bit more with each breath in. Perhaps your heartbeat is beating a little bit faster. We'll add a simple movement to our breath. Breathing in, arms reach up high over our head. Exhale, arms down by our side. Inhaling, arms reaching up. Exhaling, arms coming down by our side. One more time, breath in. Let's hold it here, exhaling, inhaling, lift up that spine, and exhaling, right hand over to that left knee, left arm comes up and kind of behind you. Maybe pushing up for your fingertips so you can get a nice twist of your waist area here. Stay connected with that breathing to the extent you can. Fighting that tendency to hold the breath, we're breathing through everything. Inhaling, arms come all the way back up. Arms stay up, exhale, inhale, lengthening just a bit. And now the left hand to the right knee, right arm behind, pushing up and lifting that spine, and then turning, twisting to your degree. Inhaling, arms come all the way up high. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, thumb knuckles under your sternum, perhaps dropping your shoulder blades just a bit, eyes open or closed. Another check-in here. So I'm on a block. I'm going to move my block out of the way. And we're going to move into cobbler's pose. Simply bring the soles of your feet together. All going to be different here. So if you're able to open up your hips here, mine are a little bit tight, so they open up only to a part way. Some of you can go further. Reach down and grab the outer arches of your feet, or you can grab your toes. Inhaling, lifting that spine. Stay here. Or if you like, you can start to fold forward. Inhaling. I love to come to that cadence, breathing in, lengthening. Breathing out, I sort of soften or releasing. Inhale, I lengthen. Exhale, I release. One more breath in. Inhale, come all the way back up. Push your legs long. Push through your heels so the toes point upward. Once again, my knees are, or my hamstrings are tight, so my knees are bent. Yours might be bent or they might be flat. All up to you or your body. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhale. Inhale, lengthening that spine. And exhale, tilting forward at the waist, trying to keep my shoulder blades in line with my back. Coming to that same cadence, inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, releasing. Don't feel the need that you have to touch your toes. In fact, you might want to try to push your heels away and notice the deep stretch you get in the back of your legs. Come back to that focused breathing. One more breath. Let's come all the way back up. We're going to shift now onto our mats to come to tabletop. I'll go sideways so you can see me. So tabletop, simply palms under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll do a few cat-cows here. And maybe if you can get your tops of your toes into the mat, otherwise you can tuck your toes. Inhaling, lift up your head and your tailbone. Exhaling, round your spine. Inhaling, lift. When I say lift up your head, it's more lifting up your chest. Exhaling, round the spine. We want to stretch the upper part of our chest. Neck, you're really kind of following it. Exhaling, round. Last one, breath in, lift. Breath out, round. Back to neutral spine. Push into that left hand. Lift that right arm out. And my left leg is going to come back, flexing my toes. And you're welcome to keep your foot on the mat, or some of you might want to lift that foot up. Stay connected. Focus your energy perhaps towards the midline of your body as you lengthen that arm and that lifted leg. Notice if you're feeling tension or if you're holding that breath, release that. One more breath, lifting both sides. Exhale, release, come back to the neutral spine. Reset, and we'll go right to the opposite side. Lifting that left arm goes long. My right leg goes back and long. Option to stay, or option to lift that leg, pushing through my heel, toes facing down. Sending my awareness to my core or to my lifted arm and leg. One more breath, lifting. Exhale, coming back to that neutral spine. So now let's tuck your toes. And as I tuck my toes, I'm going to come up onto my knees. And as I come up to my knees, I start to feel a stretch in my toes. My toes are actually spread just a bit. You can control how much pressure you put on your toes. The further you lean back, the deeper that stretch goes. Deeper isn't necessarily better. And we'll breathe right through this. We don't usually work our toes very often in most exercises, so I love when we have a chance to spread our toes and stretch our toes. Underappreciated part of our body. We'll come back onto tabletop. I'm going to push through my palms, tuck my toes, and come into kind of I guess it's a downward facing dog, but it's really soft knees here. And I'm simply going to walk forward. I'm going to face the front, but if you're on your mat, towards the top of your mat, a nice forward fold here. Your feet can be hip width distance or they can be together, it doesn't really matter here. But my knees are soft enough so my fingers can literally touch the floor, almost touch the floor. You can shake your head yes or no, or round your neck a little bit here, just to loosen it up. And if you would like, you can reach down and grab your opposite elbows. And I love to slow down this part. To consciously shift
Notice the weight of your body shifting forward. I mean, a nice deep stretch in the back of your legs. If you like, you can sway side to side. Even with these sways, notice if your mind wanders, just come back. And release your hands down. If your feet are not together, you can start to heel toe. They don't have to touch, but they're sort of facing forward here. Inhale, hands onto the shins, consciously squeezing your shoulder blades together, noticing that the spine starts to lengthen a bit. Another breath in, exhaling back to that forward fold. Inhaling, this time we're going to rise all the way up, arms reach up over our head. And then exhale, hands come to heart center. We'll check in here. So by check-in now, if we're a few minutes into the practice, if you want to set an intention, simple positive affirmation, this would be a great place to do that. So we're facing the top of the mat. I'm going to step to the top of the mat. We'll do a few step backs here. So I'll start with the weight shifted to the left leg, bending your right knee, arms by your side. Keep the toe on the mat, or you're welcome to lift up that right knee. Continuing that focus, breathing, breath awareness. So as you follow the cue, if you choose to follow, perhaps let the breath lead you, not my voice. Let the breath lead the way. Breath in and breath out. Inhaling, exhaling. One more breath. And as I exhale, this right foot's going to step back into a lunge, or crescent lunge. Arms can come over your head, and feel free to heel toe your feet a little wider so you've got some space here, not too wobbly. Inhaling, lengthening your spine. Exhaling, releasing. Maybe that release goes deeper, but maybe not. It's whatever your body wants to do right now. Focused breathing. Notice areas where they may be holding tension. Could be in your shoulders. Could be in your quads. Could be in your front knee. Focused breathing. One more breath in. Out. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhaling, arms come down by your side. Push off your back foot. Then come to the top of your mat. Breath in. There's a full release. Let that go. Switch it right out. Weight to the right side. Soften that left knee toe on or knee lifted. Don't feel like you've got to do everything I'm doing. I'm just queuing up things for your suggestion, option. Focused breathing here. A couple more breaths and then transition into that lunge. Inhaling, I lift my knee. Exhaling, stepping back into the lunge. Make my right foot a little wider. And then we'll settle in for about 5 breaths here. One more breath in. Exhaling, arms down by your side. Push off your back foot, step to the top of your mat. Full breath in. Nice place to check in. So we're going to add on from here. Once again, weight shifts to the left side. Right knee bent or knee off. Lift it up. Settle into that focused breathing before we move on. Inhaling, that knee lifts. Exhaling, stepping back into that lunge. One breath in. Exhaling, open up the warrior two. And then take the time to settle in. So I find that my back foot doesn't always land properly. So I just move it. Come back to that breathing, and once again, let's do a check-in. Anything physically going on that you can tense, loosen up, not tense up, loosen up. We're going to flip the front palm and move to that revolved warrior. So the top arm, in this case, my left arm is nice and strong, reaching upward. My back arm is nice and soft. Connecting, noticing from the waist up, it's really lengthening. From the waist down, it's really rounding into the floor of the mat. One more breath in. Exhaling, warrior two. We'll go right to side angle so that left forearm comes onto your knee, right arm comes up. And then we'll bring it forward. Leaning in to the best you can. I love this pose. Just feel like strength from the outer part of my body, from my outer arch of my foot, running up my leg, my outer ribs, my hands. I've spread my fingers. I just feel so powerful in this pose. Be a little tenseful but powerful. Stay, or a top arm can go behind your back for a variation of a half bind here. Just a couple more breaths. So we'll start to unwind from the pose just the same way we came in. Inhale and bring your arm up. Exhale and use your core back to warrior two. We'll reverse our way. Inhaling, arms over your head. Back heel is going to spin off the mat. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, arms by your side. Push off the back foot. Come to the top of the mat. Breath in. Let that puppy go. All right, right to the opposite side. Right to the right side. Soften that left knee, toe on, knee off. Stay where you're at. I'm going to switch sides so you can see here. One more breath in. Exhaling, stepping back into that lunge. You've been here before. Adjust that back foot as you need. Breathing in. And then exhale, warrior two. Back heel spins. Arms lengthening here. So we'll check in once again, just as you need to. Back off if you need to. Deepen if you need to. Front palm flips will revolve that warrior. One more breath, really lifting up here. Exhaling, warrior two. Stay or move right into extended side angle. Up and over. So notice if there's any tension in your neck. Sometimes it's helpful to kind of turn and look towards or through your armpit, that lifted arm. Top arm can come up. Move to your version of a half bind. Stay with it. Breathe back off if you need to, but do it consciously. Start to unwind, go backwards here. Inhale, top arm comes back up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, arms over your head. Back heel spins. Crescent lunge. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, arms by your side. Back foot comes forward. Full breath in. Okay, we're at the top of our mat. Once again, weight into the left leg, right knee lifts. We're going to add on from where we just were. If you need to take a break, by all means, you can come down for a seat, back off the pose slightly, come to child's pose. One more breath in, exhaling crescent lunge. Inhale, lift, exhale, warrior two. We'll add a little movement to our warrior two. We'll do a warrior two into triangle pose. So breathing in, arms over our head, that front leg straightens. Exhaling to warrior two. Inhaling, arms up, leg straight, exhaling. A few more here, breath and movement together. Last one. Inhaling, exhaling, warrior two. Let's hold that warrior for a moment here. Now we'll move right into triangle pose, straighten that front leg, extend that front arm, that hip comes back, reaching, that front arm starts to come down, top arm will start within our hip, so we can start to twist open our chest area here. And you can keep your arm here if you like. You can take your arm up. You can explore where that lower arm is. You can go down lower, come up a little higher. Each one slightly different than physically. Great opportunity to connect with the breathing here. And come back to warrior two. So from here, we're going to shift into half moon. So it's exactly what we just did, except we're going to lift that back leg. So it's a transition. I'm going to move so you can see me a little bit better here. So in warrior two, simply push off that back leg, start to come forward. Maybe that back leg lifts, or you can stay in warrior two. And then you can just come into this lifted triangle pose. Gaze can be down. Use your block here. Top arm can come onto your hip. Maybe focus on one part. Maybe it's just that standing leg. Notice the wobbles of the ankle. Very slowly, that lifted leg is going to come back down on the mat, back to warrior two. Inhaling to a crescent lunge. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, arms by your side, back foot comes forward. Breath in. I will do the opposite side. So I'm going to spin over this side so you can see. Balancing, left knee lifts. Exhaling to a crescent lunge. Breath in, exhaling to warrior two. Add some movement here. Inhaling, arm up, leg straightens. Exhaling, warrior two. Inhaling, arm up, leg straight. Exhale. A few more. Breath in. Breath out. Inhaling, arm lengthens, leg straightens. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. We'll move into triangle pose, straighten that front leg, extend your arm long, reach, coming forward, top arm, let's start on the hip, if you like. Open that chest area, option to lift that top arm back up. So your gaze could be straight out or it could be upward. Generally, we'd like to have that neck follow the trajectory of the spine, if that makes sense. One more breath here. Coming back to warrior two. So we're going to do that transition. Move back just a bit. So you can stay in warrior two or come back to a triangle pose or simply shift away to that front leg. Slowly that back leg lifts. You move into half moon, or otherwise known as a lifted triangle pose. Again, the block is great here. Focus breathing, focus body part. There's two more breaths here. We fall out, we could just shrug it off and smile. One breath. Exhale, come back down to warrior two. Inhaling, crescent lunge. Back heel lifts. Breath in. Exhale, arms by your side. Back foot comes forward. Full breath in. Full release. Come to the top of your mat. Once again, let's shift the weight to the left, lifting our right knee up. Stay here, or we'll float back into air. Breathing in very slowly. I would dare say gracefully. That right leg floats back. A little bit of a lifted chest here. Some say it's like an up dog chest. Arms out like wings. Maybe spread your fingers to get a little bit of dynamic control here. Stay with me here as we start to come out of the pose, start to come back. Try not to let that knee come down yet. We're going to keep it lifted, lifted. Maybe you're able to give it a hug. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. Full breath in. Full release out. Right to the opposite side, bending that left knee. Focused breathing here. Welcome to stay right here. Inhaling. If we transition here to airplane, floating that left leg back, maybe squeezing those shoulder blades slightly together. One more breath. And as we transition out, trying to keep that left knee, if we can, don't worry if you can't. Squeeze here as we lift, focus breathing, exhale, release, arms by your side, breath in. One more balancing pose, traditional tree pose. So we'll start on the right side, left leg roots into the mat. Kickstand your foot, hands can be at heart center. Then be free to move to any variation with that lower leg or your arms. Arms can stay to your chest. We can add branches. One more breath. And then release your arms, release your feet. Breath in, full release. And we'll go right to the opposite side. Start anywhere you like, any variation, tree pose. One more breath. Exhaling, release your hands, release your legs, release your breath. Full breath in. So we can step to the top of our mat. Inhale, arms reaching up. Exhaling the forward fold. Just hold down there for a moment, okay? Soften your knees, light up your chin. Just once again, reach down and grab our opposite elbows. Let the weight of the torso drag you down a little deeper. Sway a bit if you like. And then release your hands down to the mat. So we're going to step our feet back into a high plank or high push-up. So you're welcome to have your knees on the mat. So either way, your knees are on the mat, toes can be flexed, toes pointed to the mat, or if you're doing a high plank or high push-up, you're supported, arms on your shoulders, core is engaged here. We're going to hold this for just a few breaths here. So feel free to put your knees on the mat and focus on your core, meaning that we don't want to have the spine sagging. That defeats the purpose here. One way to do that is to send our energy into our core area, sometimes called a Uddiyana Bandha, belly lock. So it's focused breathing, centering that energy, that prana into our midline. If you're feeling you're slipping a little bit, please come onto your knees. If you're on a high plank, it's sometimes helpful to push through your heels. Fingers are spread, gazing straight down. We're only here for 2 more breaths. And then very slowly on your own, we can release all the way down to the mat. And as you touch down, we'll take a moment here, and you can turn your cheek to one side. Arms can come down by your side. Sometimes it's helpful to bring your big toes together, let your heels flop out, but it's really no big deal either way. Notice the heart beating faster than it was before we started the practice. Consistent breathing in and out through the nose. Doesn't matter how fast, as long as we're trying to be consistent. Now our chin or forehead come to the mat. Palms are face down by your side. Perhaps pressing into your toes. Maybe you feel your knees come off the mat just a bit. Breathing in, lifting the head and shoulders, and just let the fingertips touch the mat, almost like a cup. So just the fingertips are touching the floor. Conscious breathing, inhale, lifting your chest, maybe finding length here. Toes stay on the floor. Slight tuck your chin so there's no strain in that cervical spine. Breathing here, it's difficult, it's constrained, but we're breathing yet anyway. One more breath in. Exhale, release, relax. Turn your cheek the opposite way. Arms can be by your side, toes in, heels out if you like. Once again, chin or forehead come onto the center of the mat, arms down by your side. You can stay, just what we did before, or if you like, you can interlace your fingers behind your back, and as you start to lengthen your arms, your chest lifts, chin is tucked. Perhaps you want to lift up your legs. Conscious breathing here, lengthening, lifting. One more breath in, release, relax, turn your cheek the opposite way. Full release, let it all go. And we'll do one more back bend here while we're on our mats. It's a Sphinx pose. So We're going to come up onto our forearms. Forearms are sort of tight with the chest. Fingers are out in front. Inhaling, constantly lifting my chest right back to my chin. And as we lift, start to feel a stretch in the lumbar part, the lower spine. No need to go deep. Just get a sense for what you need today. One more breath. Exhale all the way down. Turn your cheek the opposite way. And as you do that, you can keep your hands by your side or down by your waist or up in front like goalpost arms. It doesn't matter. Just bend your knees, soles of the feet facing upward, and we'll do a little windshield wiper here. So there's a little bit of a back release here, back and forth a few times. You come back to center, you tuck your toes. So we're going to come up into our hands and knees. If you want to use a low plank, the high plank, or just come up on your hands and knees, that's fine. We're going to bring our feet forward. So at the top of the mat, engage our core. So we've done this in previous practices. So we can go to what's called boat pose, and it's a core pose. So spine lengthens. You can keep your arms long, keep your feet on the mat if you like, and then just slowly start to release till you feel your abdominals start to heat up a bit. We'll hold that there. Try to keep that spine long. So you know you've kind of got too far and you feel like you're rounding your spine. Kind of a different thing here. It's not what we're looking for. Of course, we're breathing as best we can. All the way back up. Give your knees a hug. And we'll do one more. So right back to where we were. And if you've been doing this a while and you would like to lift up your legs, that's fine. Don't feel pressure to do that. So if you want to lift up your legs, you can lift up one leg or both legs. Keep both down. Breathing here. We're going to stay here for about 5 more breaths. One more breath in and exhale. Let's come back up, crossing your legs, pushing through your palms. Maybe your hips can just lift up a bit and then release. Legs are going to come long here. Hands are going to come long as I keep my spine long. And then using my core, start to release all the way down to the mat. Try not to plop down, maybe to the very last moment. And as we touch down, head and shoulders come onto the mat, bend our knees, little squeeze of the knees, roll side to side just a bit. And then release the soles of your feet to the mat, keep your knees bent. We'll move into a moving bridge pose. So we'll start with our arms long over our head, or even goalpost arms. Knees are bent, and scoot your heels in towards your inner thighs, but your knees are parallel with your hips. So we'll add some movement. Inhaling, lengthen the arms. Exhaling, lifting up your hips, pressing through your heels. Arms come down by your side. Keep your arms there. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, arms come all the way up. Exhaling, release your hips down. Breath in and breath out. We'll do that again. Inhaling, lengthen your arms. Exhaling, arms come over your head, down by your side. Push into your heels, lift up your hips. Keep the hips lifted up with the breath in and out. In and out. Inhaling, arms come up,
over your head, exhaling, release your hips down, breath in and breath out. Last time, inhale, lengthen your arms, exhale, arms come over your head, palms facing down, exhale, lift up your hips. We're gonna stay here for a little bit now. I'll be about 5 or 6 breaths, so if you like, you can interlace your fingers underneath your back. You can scoot your shoulder blades under. To the extent you can, keep your gaze upward, straight. I know you might want to be looking at the screen, that's fine. But generally speaking, we don't want to put too much strain on that cervical spine. Check in with your heels. Maybe you can push through those heels and lift. Don't force it. It's just a conscious awareness of what our bodies are doing. One more breath. Exhaling, slowly release. Move your hands out of the way. Hips come down. Let's give our knees a nice squeeze. Want to roll side to side again, that's fine. Release the soles of your feet again, just like where they were before. This time we're going to take our right leg, and the right ankle is going to cross over the left knee. Flexing the toes of that left knee, and it looks like a figure 4, and we can stay here. A couple options. Stay here if you'd like, and if you feel like you want to get a little more of an opening in that right hip, place your right hand towards your right knee and gently, very gently, start to put some pressure on the side of that right knee, keeping that right foot flexed, and maybe you feel a little stretch in that right hip. If you want something different, we can thread the needle. Same idea, keep a figure 4. In this case, take your right hand, reach up, grab your thigh, lift up that left leg, flex your foot, head and shoulders come on the mat. So either way, thread the needle, legs lifted, or you can keep the left leg on the floor with a figure 4. A couple more breaths here. Very slowly we'll release. So if it's a figure, if you're thread the needle, that left heel comes down. You release that right leg, both soles of the feet onto the mat. Take a moment to kind of recenter, rebalance ourselves. Maybe move your shoulders around just a bit. And then we'll switch it out. Left leg, left ankle crosses that right knee. Figure 4, stay here. Maybe put a little pressure on that left knee to open up that hip. Or thread the needle, left hand reaches it. Grab your right thigh. Head and shoulders come back down. Both legs lifted and both feet are flexed. Stay connected with the breathing. Anytime we work with our hip, our mind tends to want to wander. Just a few more breaths here. And then slowly we'll start to unwind. Right sole of the foot comes down. Release that figure 4. Both knees are bent. Bend your knees. Give yourself a nice hug here. So from here, if you'd like, you can just keep moving around, or we can move into Happy Baby. So Happy Baby is simply reaching up and grabbing the inner arch. Some people like to grab the outer arch. Doesn't really matter either way. Knees are kind of softened here, and you can just move back and forth. If you're having issues with your knees, just give yourself a hug, kind of what we did before. If you have Happy Baby, release your knees, so give your both knees a nice squeeze here, a nice hug. And we'll move into a spinal twist. So we're gonna release that left leg long, so the right knee stays bent. And we're gonna push that heel away on that left leg, so you really feel length in there. And then we'll take our left hand onto that right knee, and we'll guide it across your body, releasing that right arm by our side, aware that we're keeping that right shoulder blade on the floor to the extent we can. Slowly we'll come back to center. Both legs go long. Get the length here, and then we can switch it out. Bring that left knee in, nice squeeze here. And then with our right hand, we'll guide that knee across your body, releasing that left arm and keeping that left shoulder on the floor, maybe taking your gaze upward and maybe even a bit over to the left side. We'll come back to center, bringing both knees in. Final squeeze, a final hug. And then we can release into the final pose, the most important pose, and that's rest. So options here to release your feet out to the outer edges of your mat, kind of toes out, heels slightly in, arms out by your side, relaxing everything so it sinks into the floor of your mat. If you're having issues with your back and that's painful here, you can bend your knees, keep your knees bent. Or you could roll onto your side into some type of modified fetal position. You can even come to a seated position or sit on a chair. It really doesn't matter. Find a place where you can rest for a few moments. We're going to stay here for about 5 minutes. Take those first few moments to acknowledge the transition from your mindful movement, which we had focused breathing, to rest, where we release any control of the breath. We let the body start to recover, and we just observe the body as it starts to recover. Of course, the mind's going to want to get in the way and throw in a few thoughts along the way. We're going to acknowledge that. We're not going to block it out. We'll acknowledge it, but then we'll release it. And we will release it best we can without any judgment or even without trying to complete the thought. Notice that your body might feel a little heavy on the floor. Perhaps with each exhale, you can feel the body getting even heavier.
Perhaps observing natural breath, returning to steady state. Perhaps noticing any physical sensations. You can send awareness or sending your breath or your energy to that place where you're feeling sensation. Body comes to its natural state of rest. nothing to do, no place to be, but the present. Awareness of your breathing, awareness of your body. Releasing, softening. If your awareness has gone inward, slowly start to shift that awareness to a more external, meaning bring your awareness to sensations in the body or sensations in the room, even any sounds you hear. Perhaps you can even hear the sounds that are in the room I'm in. Awareness of your body lying or sitting down. And slowly start to deepen your breath without forcing it. Deepening the breath brings a little more energy into your body. Start to facilitate the re-entering process. Perhaps wiggling your fingers or your toes. And if you're lying down on your back, placing the soles of your feet onto your mat as you bend your knees. Roll over to your side. Noticing if your eyes are closed. If they're closed, you're welcome to keep them closed. And if they're open, just try to have a soft gaze. As you start to come to a comfortable seated position, make your way to a comfortable seated position. Take a moment of gratitude for our practice today, for showing up, for being. If you like, you can join me by bringing your thumb knuckles here to your chest area, sternum area, hands to heart center. Sense of gratitude for all that we have, acknowledging that we all face challenges, but also acknowledging the good that resides within us, and even the good we can find that's around us. Once again, you're welcome to join me by bringing your thumb knuckles up to your forehead. We honor the light, the goodness, the energy, and the warmth in each of us. Bowing before each other, honoring each other by saying Namaste. thank you for joining the practice today. And if you feel like you've gotten something out of this practice, see if you can take that feeling with you for the rest of your day. See if you can imagine yourself going through the rest of your day from a sense of gratitude or a sense of peace or a sense of release. Thank you again for joining. Again, my name is Mike Huggins from the Transformation Yoga Project, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.